Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, my welder Spock and I are going to try and fix up this old fan shroud. So I already started cleaning this thing up today. I got this little piece cleaned up on the wire wheel. And I took the drill with the wire wheel bits and cleaned up all the edges and everything that I could. I got that little wire wheel for the drill in all these corners. I'm probably going to clean up that little hole right there. Put some tacks on some of these seams. There's only one little spot weld right here. I'm probably going to tack that also in that little corner right there. I'll fill up every little air gap that I can find in here, and hopefully that will add up enough to make this thing work better. First part I want to attack is this right here. It moves, it's loose, and this little piece here is just a bend. So I'm going to push this down and weld it. Then from there I will start welding all these little pieces in here. There's a gap right here I'm going to weld. So you'll see. I'll attack this, go around it a couple times and try and fix this thing up the best I can. Fire up Spock and get to it. I had too much light coming through the back of my helmet, so I can't see what I'm doing. It's really dark in here to weld, so I hope you guys can see. There we go. I'm going to weld this down to the top of the shroud. Very nice. More. That'll do it. Very nice. And before you ask, this is to block the light coming through the back of my helmet. Just a stupid trick I picked up somewhere. I think what I'm going to tackle next is this hole right here. You can see that little hole right there? And fill that in. I had to turn up my wire speed a little bit. Burning. My glove's on fire, dude. Alright, there's a little bit here. I'm just gonna tack it. Yeah, it looks like one of those days where all my tacks are going to look like crap. Really close quarters, and it's dark, and it's hard to see where that thing goes sometimes. But I'm not going to make excuses. It's just one of those days. I should have pushed that down first. That was stupid. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's a big air gap right in there. Not sure if that shows up on the camera or not, but that's probably the biggest one out of the shroud. Well, right here it's kind of big too. But here and here is pretty bad. Probably going to put a couple tacks in that and then call it, because I think this is going to end up getting seam sealer. You don't want to warp this too much. Seems the only way I can really get it together is by pushing it like that. A little better. Yeah, it did pull it together a little bit. Like I said, seam sealer is probably going to be the way to go for that. That turned out good. One more right about here, and the rest can get seam sealed. Yeah, that one pulled together nicely. Okay, I'm happy with that. This little indentation here, on the inside there is a hole where this comes over. There's a little hole right there, and then this swoop here, there's a little hole right here. I filled them both in. I'll hit those with the grinder later, flatten them out a little bit. Moving on. There's about 50 other places that I got to weld on here, so you know what comes next. Super speed! Where'd you go? Beer run? You were gone for so long. Coors Light? Budweiser? Natty Ice. I'm just kidding. I had to charge the camera again. It died. So you missed a bunch of stuff. I was burning holes through stuff. Burned another hole here through my triangle. I got a little crazy with the grinder. Ground off some of my welds just to kind of see where I was at. I welded up some of the inside. This seam, as you can see, it's all been welded on the inside. Man, it does not look pretty. But there was, I could see light through all this. So I started doing this in here just because I thought this is one of the points where there'd be the most air pressure trying to get out because it would be resisted by the cooler here. And then I stopped because I think I burned through right there. I was like, that's it, I'm done. So now I'm going to seam seal the rest of this. I'm happy with where I'm at. So we're on this exit tin. I didn't notice this before, but it's flat here and then it dips up and then it goes flat again. So I'm assuming this gets foam. I notched this little corner, banged it in, cut it again, notched it, and now she looks like she's pretty close. I already cut a piece of metal to put in here, and then I noticed this. So I don't know what I should do. I'm thinking just put this in and use foam again. What do you think? Yeah? All right, let's do that. All right. I'm going to try and bend this as much as I can before I cut this. There we go. Yay. All right, I will mark this, cut this, and then I guess I'm gonna slice this thing, tack this in here. I might as well line it up just the way it is right now and mark it. Well, I'll tell you what, the metal's thin, but the paint's thick. It like remelts when you're trying to grind it off. I tried it with the wire wheel, same thing. It like melts and smears, just gets too hot. Might have to turn the fan on when I weld, because that doesn't want to come off of there, and I don't want to grind this down any thinner. It is what it is. Let me get you over here to look at this. You can share my thoughts. Okay, so here's my thoughts. The Hoover bit comes to right about here. That's basically, there's the end of it right there. Right there. This thing has this little doohickey on here. If the Hoover bit comes to here, why does this come up to here? Shouldn't that come down to there? So now I'm thinking, what good is this even doing? Do I want to mess with this anymore? Let's just go with it. Let's just put another strip in here. I don't understand it, but I'm going to go with it. Well, looky here. That piece just happens to be perfect. That's funny. All right, cutting. Clean this up a little bit. Do some bendy action to match that. Clean this up on the wire wheel, and then we can start welding. Man, that stuff does not want to come off of there. Okay, I am going to go to the vise. about it. I will tack it, and then I will hammer it into submission. Yep, that paint stinks. Woo! Nasty. Ooh, that's hot. Damn. I had a hole in my glove and I tried to put it out with my finger. Brilliant. That's what happens when you put your finger on molten metal. Dumbass. Durr. I've had worse weld burns than that. There's a little tiny spot on the end where I needed to put a little material. Okay. Nice. That one is ready. Now I need to put the strip in here. The strip. Strip. That one tweaked it a little bit. There we go. Ooh, skippy. Again, I needed to build a little material on the end. It was so thin from grinding it up. Just blew right through it. And whenever I do that, if I have the angle, man, that stuff stinks. I will try and weld something on the back. This is just dirty. That's probably it. Alright, that should do it for that side. Nope, I'm at it. Gonna have to fill this in a little bit. See that? That's how good this paint is. It will not ground this. It looks ugly now, but when I grind it, it'll look great. Trust me. 50-year-old Beetle, the metal's so thin, you chase holes like that all the time. You get good at filling holes. Man, that stuff's stinky! Look at that. That stuff is like indestructible. The one thing I can say that's good about this tin, it don't fit for shit. But man, that paint is durable. Yeah, it's gotta be ground off right there. Better. Yeah, it's better. Man, I do not like the smell of that powder coater. It reeks. Yeah, that worked good. So I'm gonna finish welding this now, so you know what comes next. Super speed. Alright, now we got some material on here. We can grind this down and then fill in any air gaps. Close enough for now. Let's see what we got. So we got our strip welded in here. I welded it a little bit on the back too, just to give it some strength, because I knew I was going to grind the hell out of the outside of this. I got probably 60% of it down. There's a little bit of a low spot right here. That can be ground off. That could be ground off too. I think we're going to be all right. Doesn't matter, it's just behind the engine anyway, right? Here's the dealio. I'm going to end up cutting this off of here and utilizing this one that's in here. I'm going to put a piece of metal in here. Much better. That needs to be ground down. But there you go. There's our second piece. Oh, you know what? This is a little too tall. I can fix that. That seems better. There we go. Nice. And then our piece of foam will go behind here. But this is sitting nice. Probably so it doesn't rattle. That's what, I don't know. Now now I'm like, oh, happy you want to keep going, but it's too late. I gotta work tomorrow. All right. Oh yeah. It's gonna need a little bit of shaping, molding, and straightening. But I am happy with that. So let's take you out of here. All right, so there we have it. I just put this little piece of cardboard under here just to hold it up. I need to pound this part of this out a little bit because I was nailing on it before with a hammer. But that will line up perfect once I smush that down a little bit and pound that out. Needs a bunch of cleanup, and then next we will tackle all this stuff. Move it along. Pretty soon it'll be clean up, sand her down, and paint it time. Okay. Pretty cool. Liking it. I only burned myself once. Dummy. And that was my own fault. She's a little bit thicker, but I think it looks awesome. It's gonna look awesome anyway. Here's a question for you guys. Venturi ring things. You guys believe in them? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Not necessary. Should I get one? Let me know. Please comment. I'm smoked. The clock says it's late. Lost a bunch of footage. You guys went on a beer run. Didn't even bring me back nothing. What's up with that? Anyway. So I'm pretty stoned from them fumes. I'm not even kidding. Part 3 of the fan shroud video will be coming up soon. Wow. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the button. It's right here. Hit it. I put all the parts that I use in the description of the video and in the comments. So click on those. Go shopping on Amazon. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.